Teachers. What's a crush you completely misread in a student? After 14 years teaching 7th grade, I can spot a crush from across the room. The stolen glances, the sudden interest in someone's locker combination, the way a kid will rewrite one sentence 6 times just to have an excuse to walk it up to the right desk. I've seen it 1,000 times, but I have never been more wrong about one than I was about Eli Forster. Eli transferred to us in October, halfway through the semester. Quiet kid, back corner, kept his hood up until the bell rang. He never raised his hand once in my class. The only time he showed any spark was when Nora Beckett walked in. His whole face would change. He'd go red, drop his pencil, pretend to read a book he was holding upside down. Classic. I figured it was the most obvious crush I'd seen all year, so I started noticing the little things. Every single day, Eli asked to use the bathroom at 11:40, right before lunch, never after. Every day, he volunteered to carry my box of graded papers down to the office, even though it made him late to the cafeteria. And he kept this folded index card in his pencil case that he'd check between classes, then snap the case shut the second anyone got close. I assumed it was a list of things to say to Nora, conversation starters. I thought it was sweet. What I didn't know was that another kid was watching Eli too. Cole Hargrove. Loud, popular, the kind of boy who needs an audience to feel like he exists. Cole had decided Eli was an easy target. Why's he always sneaking off at lunch, he'd say, just loud enough for the back rows. Bet that card's a little love note. It came to a head on a Thursday. Eli set his pencil case on his desk, and Cole knocked it to the floor on his way past. No accident. The folded card slid out. Cole snatched it up before Eli could move, stood on a chair, and waved it over his head like a trophy. Let's read Eli's love letter. The whole class turned. Eli stood up so fast his chair fell over backward. His face wasn't red anymore. It was white. I started toward Cole to shut it down, but he'd already unfolded it and started reading out loud, grinning, expecting hearts and poetry. He got 3 words in and stopped. It wasn't a love note. It was a list. A tally, really? Dates down one side, tiny check marks down the other. At the top, in careful handwriting, it said, "Make sure she eats." The room went quiet, in a way 7th graders never get quiet. Cole's grin slid right off his face. He didn't understand what he was holding, but I did, the second I read the next line over his shoulder. Nora's family had moved into the county shelter back in September. I knew because I'd signed the transfer paperwork myself. What I didn't know was that Nora had quietly stopped bringing lunch, too proud to carry a free tray through a cafeteria full of people who knew her. And every day at 11:40, before the rush, Eli had been leaving half of his own lunch in her cubby. The bathroom trips, the volunteering to be late. The card was him keeping track so he'd never miss a day. 6 weeks. He'd never told a single soul, not even her. The crush was real. It had just never once been about getting Nora to notice him. It was about making sure she was okay, whether she noticed him or not. Cole climbed down off that chair like the floor had caught fire. He set the card back on Eli's desk, mumbled, "Sorry, man," and sat down. Nobody laughed. A couple of kids were crying, honestly, and I wasn't far behind. But here's the part that wrecked me. That afternoon, while I was packing up, Nora came to my desk and asked if she could leave something in Eli's cubby before he gets there. She handed me a folded piece of paper to pass along, cheeks bright red, and hurried out before I could say a word. I shouldn't have looked. I looked. It was a drawing. Eli, in his hood, sliding something into a cubby, sketched from across the cafeteria. Behind it were more. One for every day, each dated in the corner. The same 6 weeks. She'd known exactly who it was from the very first morning, and she'd spent those weeks quietly saying thank you the only way she could, without ever making him stop. 2 kids looking right at each other the whole time. Neither one ever said a single word.